Right, welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Hellraiser. We have a movie which has just had its pinhead announced in Jamie Clayton, and we have a TV series. Now, both of these things are actually non-combined; they're not linked, as we know about at this moment in time. And we've not really had any updates on this TV series for some time. It's supposedly developed for HBO Max. I was in discussions with some sources pretty close to this project, about it basically, and it did actually all sound pretty promising. It has been a year and a half though since it was announced. Long time, and nothing is happening. Literally nothing at all. What's more so worrying is it's been a year since a brand new executive producer was announced on it, and the showrunner and director of the early episodes, David Gordon Green, has not even met the new executive producer. Who's that, I hear you say? Clive Barker. I just don't have a lot of faith in this. I was actually really surprised to hear about the casting of the Hellraiser movie, and for that to even be progressing as quickly as it is now, whilst this one's stagnating. It seems really odd. And normally, and we'll get to the news in a minute, because there's a whole interview here to discuss it, but I want to get into the sort of nitty gritty of it all. Normally it's a race. When there's a movie announced and a TV series announced, it's a race to release it. Why is it a race to release it? Because normally if a movie gets released and a TV series is unrelated, they don't tend to want to do the TV series, or vice versa. If a TV series gets released, then they don't, technically speaking, generally anyway, want to then do the movie adaptation, because it confuses people, and they can't get the financiers and things like that. They just don't really gel very well. So, everything was pointing to this actually being pretty positive, but I'm not going to lie, and maybe the source is watching this video, I don't know, but I don't know whether this is just dead in the water. There might be something which happens moving forwards, but it doesn't seem very positive. And that comes from me, Mr. H, essentially Mr. Hellraiser. You know, I want it to do well, but there's nothing positive to talk about here. In fact, this news that I'm going to cover today is actually quite negative. So, here we go. Last week it was announced that Jamie Clayton plays the new Pinhead in director David Bruckner's Hellraiser reboot, which is actually sounding more and more positive. Literally. This guy recently directed The Night House. If you've seen it and you're a fan of Hellraiser, you'll probably really like it. And also, you might not be surprised, but you might be surprised to know that that was a film developed from a Hellraiser pitch. David Bruckner's great. I'm actually quite excited for this. The only thing, to me, that is a damper on this series, this movie, is the fact that it's going straight to Hulu. That sucks. Like, undeniably, because this was promised when it was first announced to be a theatrical release, but obviously that's not happening now, which does suck. Like, I'm not going to hide it. That's garbage. But anyway, that was a film which will be released through the Hulu streaming series service, and is already in post-production. They've smashed it. They've just gone balls to the wall, shot it, done. It's in post-production now. Wow, super quick. Hellraiser TV series, nowhere to be found. Literally nowhere to be found at all. And I get it, I don't want them to rush, but a year and a half to write some scripts? Come on. Get your act together. Like, it shouldn't be that hard. Like, it actually shouldn't be that difficult. Now anyway, with that Hellraiser has done principal photography, it made us very curious to hear an update on the Hellraiser TV series that's in the works at HBO Max. An entirely separate project that is by no means a remake, but rather assumes the past mythology to be given. It's not on HBO Max. It was initially announced to only be on HBO. And then I sort of alluded to, well, why wouldn't they put it on HBO Max? It's HBO. Of course they just put it on HBO Max. Why wouldn't they just, like, mould the two? Seemed odd to me. But that's slightly wrong. This is a Joe Blow article, and that is slightly wrong, because we haven't had confirmation it's going to be on HBO Max yet. Now anyway, it continues further and says, you know, basically the show has been described as an elevated continuation of the existing Hellraiser mythology. Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills director David Gordon Green is attached to direct multiple episodes of the show, and thankfully movie Joe Bob Briggs was able to get some Hellraiser quotes from him when Green made a guest appearance on Joe Bob's latest Shudder special. So shall we have a look at this epic interview? It's not epic. So Joe said, "You're doing a Hellraiser TV series, right?" David said, "Right, yeah. We're in just the early stages of putting that together right now with HBO. Are you working with Clive Barker on that?" "I haven't communicated with him yet, but apparently he has just now joined the project." Just now? October 30th, 2020, David Gordon Green. October 30th, 2020, David Gordon Green. I'm sorry, mate. October 30th. What do you want me to say? Just now? Just now joined the project, has he? That's not good. That's not good that the showrunner doesn't even know that an executive producer signed on a year ago. This is sounding like a shit show. It's not sounding positive. It's not. That doesn't sound good. The guy should know. Absolutely he should know. Haven't there already been 14 Hellraiser? Joe should know this as well, so that's pretty shit of him. There have been a lot of Hellraiser, some good and some a little bit less than good. Have you watched them all? I've not watched all of them. That's a project. You don't need to watch all of them. That's a project I need to do a little bit more of my homework on. I was a huge fan of the first one, and Clive Barker's original short story is really wonderful and inspiring. Well, no, actually, I tell a lie. You do need to, if you're supposedly continuing the mythology. Actually, no, you do. Yeah, sorry. No, you do. That's not particularly great either. Sorry. Would Doug Bradley be involved? Here's the thing that everyone always wants to hear about. I like that idea, but there's a complicated property. That's a complicated property. Like a lot of these titles that have evolved over the years with various ownerships and relationships, that some are good, some aren't good. So there's a movie project in one part of town and a TV series in another. So we're trying to get clarity on that. Basically, don't know because of the rights. Literally got no idea. Yeah, that thing got cut up like 19 different pieces. It's like real estate with your siblings. When you inherit something, there's all these different who's who and what's what. Who knows? Oh, God. It's been a year since Clive Barker's been confirmed to join this project. What are you doing? Not only that, right, is the fact that he says, we're in the very early stages of putting that together with HBO. Now this was, and I said I got some concerns about this. It's not officially greenlit. It can't be officially greenlit. If you don't have the scripts together, what has HBO actually greenlit? They haven't greenlit anything. They're not going to greenlight it off of you going, do you want to do a Hellraiser series? HBO aren't going to go, yes, sign me up. Here's all this money. No worries. They're going to go, yeah, in principle, but let's see some scripts first. It's such a shame. Anyway, so even though it's been a year and a half since the Hellraiser HBO series was first announced, it doesn't sound like a whole lot of progress has been made on it yet. And it has actually been almost a year since it was confirmed that Clive Barker will be an executive producer on the show. Barker is also an executive producer on Bruckner's Hellraiser film. That's because... but there's a court order stating that the first movie's US copyright will be his as of December 19th. Yeah, so he sued to get the rights back. So that's why he's joined that, obviously. And I do think... And I reached out to my source about this. And it was a really strange interaction. I said, look... Why is Clive Barker joined as executive producer? No, mainly because I'm like, well, it's a bit confusing because he's suing. Larry Cuppin, was the defendant on the lawsuit for the movie rights, but also Larry Cuppin, has the rights to the TV series. So I'm like, there's something going on here. My source was very evasive and actually tried to deny that a lawsuit even happened. I'm like, why are you denying this? Clearly the lawsuit happened. Like, you can't deny it. It's been to court. It's a very strange interaction. So I'm not going to lie. I do think that they are hiding some stuff which is happening behind closed doors. It's been a year and a half. They are still in very early stages of development. It's been a year since Clive Barker was announced. And the showrunner, as much as he's been busy with Halloween, I get that. But he is still doing other things as well. He hasn't even met Clive Barker and doesn't even know that he signed on for a year. Oh, he's just now signed on? Yeah, 12 months ago, David. Come on. So, undoubtedly, I believe something's going on behind closed doors. It has to be. It's not plain sailing. And if they haven't got scripts together, it's not officially greenlit. That's not how it works. You don't just take a property and go, would you like to greenlight this? They'll go, yeah, in principle, but let's see it. Anyway, Mark Verheiden and Michael Dougherty are writing the scripts for the HBO series. Joe Blow. With Verheiden serving as showrunner. Barker, Green, Verheiden and Dougherty will be executive producing. And Farah Films, Dan Farah, Vertigo Entertainment's Roy Lee, Green's Rough House partners, Danny McBride, Jodie Hill and Brandon James. And Panacea's Eric Garner. Lawrence Cuppen, Larry Cuppen, there you go. David Salzman and Mark Toberoff. Like, all of these things are fine. Like, Mark Verheiden's great, Mike Dougherty's great. All of that's great. But it just sounds like a shit show behind closed doors. I don't know what is going on with this series. I don't know what is going on. And in fairness, look, maybe guys, maybe this big interview here is just a bait and switch. Maybe it'll come to it and, you know, David Gordon Green was like, haha, gotcha. But it's not a good look. You know, even if it does become a gotcha moment, maybe he has met him and, you know, he's going to come out and go, we've got all the scripts, it's officially greenlit, 100%, there you go. It airs this date, here's the trailer. Do you know what I mean? Like, all of these kind of things could happen. But this still isn't a good look. It doesn't inspire confidence. And series like this, especially for the Hellraiser property, needs confidence behind it. Because God knows people think that the Hellraiser series is garbage at the moment. So you lead with the director / sort of showrunner, because David Gordon Green will sort of be showrunning it, I guess, along with Mark Verheiden. You know, you lead with him basically confused about when an executive producer like Clive Barker, the owner of the property, the guy who wrote the first one, hasn't even signed on. Like, that's just bad. It looks bad. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down below. I'm not trying to get anyone worked up needlessly, but all signs are there pointing to this being a complete shit show behind closed doors. And it might be fine. It might be fine, but then where's this come from? Where's this come from? Because this doesn't look good. Anyway, let me know what you think down below. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.